Did you know that nearly 70% of Americans set financial resolutions for the new year? Well, only 19% of people actually stick with them after the month of February, and the rest fall short. But if you're serious about making 2026 your strongest financial year yet, you better listen up. Today on Jacksonville's Retirement Coach, our host Adam Wolf shares his New Year's portfolio planning must-do tasks so that you start the new year on solid ground. Adam is a certified financial planner and the president of Wolf Retirement Navigation right here in Jacksonville, Florida. You can learn more by visiting wolfretirement.com. Again, wolfretirement.com, or by calling 904-232-8760 to schedule your complimentary portfolio review and turn those resolutions into results. Adam, Happy New Year.
Hey, Happy New Year.
We're fully into 2026, and it feels like just yesterday we were talking about 2025.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's like, you look back on things, you're like, wow, we're halfway through the 2020s.
Yeah.
Gosh, it's amazing.
There is that psychological shift, right? From Five Below to, now we're officially over the halfway point into the year 2020. So yes, it's crazy. I hope you had a wonderful holiday season.
Yeah, we had a great Christmas. Thank you very much.
I'm glad to hear it. Well, we are in 2026 and wanting to talk about, the celebration is over and now we got to get back into the real work, right? The nitty gritty of making sure that we're on a solid path for a new year, setting some financial goals and resolutions. What are some of the major tax landscape things that we should be keeping in mind and sort of strategically planning for 2026?
Yeah, I mean, the Build Back Bigger Act that was passed last year, a lot of the tax changes, are set to start this year. In 2025, they call it the senior deduction. I did not like that senior deduction. It was because of the wording senior,
Right.
I talked to a client about this, like, hey, do you like the word senior or do you like the word retiree? They said, I don't care as long as I get my discount wherever I go. That's all they care about. I don't care what they're called, but I don't like it. I call it the Social Security deduction. And it's $6,000 per person with income eligibility and things that we had to jump through. That was in 2025. Now that's going to continue in 2026. So that's there, an additional $6,000 deduction. Also, something that's new this year in 2026 is a lot of my clients who have paid off their mortgages and don't have a whole lot of real estate taxes. Thankfully don't have a lot of medical bills. They don't qualify to itemize their deductions. So their charitable deductions aren't, they aren't getting the credit for deducting those. So because the standard deductions are so high now, what the government's done is $1,000 per person of cash contributions, cash donations. It can't be, your old sweaters, old T-shirts going to Goodwill.
Right.
It has to be cash. $1,000 each, two total for a married couple, can go against your income even if you do a standard deduction. So, for a married couple, now we're over $30,000+ standard deduction. 65 or older, it's another bit. And then senior deduction, which is the Social Security deduction, another $12,000, and then another $2,000 for qualified charitable contributions. So that's huge because the more you can deduct, the lower your tax bill, but also the more you could potentially, use to manage your brackets, take money out at lower brackets, do Roth conversions at lower tax rates, all these cool things. So, be on the lookout for that. But like everything in DC, everything changes eventually. So we're at a low tax rate. We need to take advantage of these tax rates to do tax planning because they are not going to last forever.
Well, I have to laugh because as soon as you talked about your client that said they didn't care what they called it as long as they got their deduction. I remember my mother when she turned 62 and could qualify for the, senior discount places. And she did not look her age, but man, she flashed that ID probably with more excitement than she did when she turned 21. You know what I'm saying? Like she was, hey, do you offer senior discounts? Like, can I get my 10% off my coffee, whatever it was? So that I had that flashback moment of thinking her when she turned 62, and she was so excited to flip that around. So maybe we all have that excitement and enthusiasm about turning 62.
Yeah, it's like throwing money away. If not,
Yeah,
I mean, it's real. And now the age is it's like 55, 50. I mean, hell, I might get a senior discount here in a couple years.
I'm going to put some gray back in my hair and see what I can get away with.
Hey, I want a discount too. Where's my discount? Yeah.
Well, we know that New Year often brings the uncertainty of market volatility. What conversations should retirees and pre-retirees be having so that they can make sure that they're, setting themselves up for success for a new year, but avoiding any costly surprises?
Yeah, I mean, rules of thumb, of course, everybody's situation is going to be unique, but rules of thumb, we want to have a portion of your portfolio that's protected from market risks. Mm-hmm. And we need to have that in play to protect, bring that sense of peace to, sleep well at night factor, because markets go up, markets go down. We've had markets go up for multiple years now. Things, historically, anywhere from 1 to 3 times a year, markets go down 10% to 20% or more, and then they end up, either flat or down or up at the end of the year. So we have to be ready for market fluctuations by having a pool of your funds safe, protected from market risk. And then let the market risk ride as it's diversified and be tactical in the management of it, in my opinion, to make sure that we have exposure to all the different asset classes at different amounts, and then take advantage of the asset classes and the subclasses that are doing well, and then rinse and repeat. So to have good returns for the long-term money that is in the stock market. Stock market money it's at risk. It can lose your value either temporarily, but that is for the long-term growth needed to make a lot of the plans work. And if you are scared to death of market risk, there's ways to grow your money now that interest rates are higher than they were coming out of 3+ years ago. Mm-hmm. There's, you can grow it safely, protect your principal, and there's a combination of things that can be done for most folks as they're in retirement, because you don't want to have to reduce your lifestyle, right?
Right.
Because of the market. And you don't want to have to, God forbid, go back to work, which is a fear of a lot of people. And I have one gentleman, he's, I'm going to go work at Walmart. I'm like, no, you're not going to go work at Walmart, because they're getting rid of all the jobs at Walmart. Right. So what are you going to go pick stuff off the shelves? No, you're not going to do that, because the market's gone down 10%. So you want to have a plan in place that's showing where your income's going to come from in good times and bad, and make sure that your lifestyle isn't affected by it as we ride out any kind of bumpy roads on the market.
I swear the ghost of my mother must be a part of this conversation, because that was part of her retirement plan. She was going to go be a greeter at Walmart if all else failed. And now I don't even think half the stores have a greeter. So she would have been poorly surprised on that one. A greeter
at Walmart is like one of the most dangerous jobs in America right now. So
I know.
You have to have some big muscles for that.
Right. Well, it brings up the conversation that, as you mentioned, retirees are worried about sort of the longevity factor and making sure that their money is growing without the fear of being scared by a market downturn. How do you help factor in all of these things like rising healthcare costs and persistent inflation, and how that is reshaping retirement when you add in the factor that retirement now could mean as many as 30+ years?
Yeah, inflation's a big deal. There's always been inflation. The last multiple years, inflation was running extremely high, more than the government led us to believe through all the inflation, cost of living and inflation calculations they do. So everything's gone up. Now the rate of change going forward is lower. So hopefully we get back to more of a new normal, but things have gone up. Things have gotten more expensive. So we have to take that into account. We have to have the growth, asset values along. People forget, as there's inflation in the day-to-day stuff, real estate taxes, insurance, healthcare costs, all that's the food costs. There's also inflation in assets. So think back to how much your house was worth pre-COVID. I can't believe that's over 5 years ago, versus now. So there's added inflation is not all bad considering what the source is. So that doesn't mean I don't want a lot of inflation going forward. I do not. So we want to keep the costs low. We want to be able to do what we want to do. But, we have to have a plan in place. If the trip's gone up and, costs I want to right size to a smaller home or downsize to a smaller home. Those smaller homes cost the same as what you would sell your house for now. So because of how the nature of the real estate market right now. So just we have to take that into account. Healthcare costs can be, at 65, things get a lot better with Medicare, Part A and B and D and the different plans that you can pick. We help out clients with that as well. We have resources for that. And then, longevity risk, long-term care, if it's in your family or if you've seen your friends or family members, suffer that way. There's ways to hedge that with insurance companies, which is what we help our clients with as well, to reduce some of that risk and some of that burden in your later years.
I want to end on a sort of an unconventional topic, but I think it's so important, and that's the psychology of retiring, because I feel like when you talk about behavioral finance, we live in a world right now where everything is like to the extreme to get you to click on it. You need $5 million in your retirement account or you'll never retire. You need, the market is going to crash and we're heading for another 1929. We have all of these extremes. And for someone who doesn't have an individual such as yourself to sort of regulate and take the emotion out of it, what do you say to those clients that are currently on the emotional roller coaster? Maybe there's, managing their retirement portfolio. How do you overcome the psychological barriers of transitioning from I'm hanging on to my money and now I've got to live off this? And this is terrifying. The idea I got to let go of it in a world that's telling me I don't have enough money. My money's going to disappear tomorrow. Social Security is going to end 2 years into my retirement. There's so much noise. Talk to some of those clients out there that are feeling overwhelmed with the noise.
Yeah. Now you take that, what you just said, it is so real and I see it all the time, but add on top of that, hey, I'm getting ready to a job I've had, a career I've had for 30 plus years. Now that's ending.
Yeah.
Because now I don't want to or have to financially work anymore. So that's that whole self of what you thought you were now has to be something different. So that's a huge piece of it. Then on top of that, let's just say there's family stuff. A lot of my clients are caregivers for their adult, they're adults, so for their parents, or they're caregivers for a friend or they have management issues with their children, their adult children. So you start layering on life and then financial and blend it all together. There can be a lot of anxiety and a lot of stress. So people handle it differently. They go at it full steam ahead. Let's get a plan together. Let's get things accomplished. Let's take this stuff off my shoulders and put it onto Wolf Retirement shoulders, which is what we do. We love to do that. That's what we were hired to do and put on this planet to do, actually. But then the other side of it, hey, let's hide, let's procrastinate. Let's not do anything about it. So it's one or the other. And I hate these extremes and all this noise out there in the media about these, hey, you got to do this, or every radio ads like this, we're the best and gold's the best, or real, all these different things. And then they try to scare you with the AI stuff that's coming too. So if you put together a unique plan, but that the way we do with our clients, we solve the different risks. We address the risks and solve what we can. We address the risk of running out of money with an income plan. We address the risk of market risk by diversifying our overall portfolio to not have all of our eggs in one basket. We address the risk of health care concerns by having a group that helps us with Medicare and finding the right approach for Medicare plans for our clients, addressing long-term care and addressing the tax uncertainty, because right now we're living in a great tax time. It doesn't feel that way because who raises their hand to pay taxes? Not too many people do.
Right.
But no, there's that tax risk that's going to come down the pike when the government has to raise taxes to pay their bills. And then also where you want your stuff to go, your estate plan, that type of stuff. So if you get all of those, it doesn't sound like a lot, and it's not. They get those 5 elements in line and consistent with what your goals are with our help. That reduces a lot of stress. It allows the most, let me give you an example. The happiest clients I have are the ones that can do what they want to do and not have to worry about this stuff.
And that's what it boils down to.
It's not because they have $5 million. They may have $500,000, but they're able to do what they want to do because they've checked all the boxes with everything else, and they can just relax. Now, people are gonna stress,
Sure.
But it's gonna be a reduced level of anxiety, a reduced level of stress to enjoy everything that they've worked hard for to get to this point, which is a lot. You've sacrificed your whole life to get here, and now it's here, and let's make sure that we're able to enjoy it because we don't have all the time in the world.
Right.
We don't have that. Nothing's guaranteed health-wise or time-wise for us. Let's take advantage of it when we can. That's the key to retirement.
You made a brief comment about it, so I just want to touch base on it real quick before we wrap up, and that's the idea of AI. We know that it's not going anywhere anytime soon. AI-driven tools and digital retirement calculators are becoming mainstream. Are you seeing technology as a complement to traditional financial advisors or a competitor?
Yeah, it's a complement to what we do. I know we want to utilize it for the tasks that our clients would rather have us, be in front of them and
Sure.
on phone calls with them and planning with them versus, drafting a lot of, things that can be done with the help of AI, so we're utilizing it, and AI is going to complement, and I'll give some examples. You ask ChatGPT certain things and it's wrong. A lot of times it's right, but especially on the financial stuff.
Yeah.
And Grok did it too with Elon Musk's AI platform that I use a lot of. But both those platforms now have put disclosures on all financial information at the bottom that, so they're not held liable for bad advice. So even AI is going to have disclosures at the end of it, but it's cool, and it's helping to make people more, in my opinion, more, just more beneficial to their clients through, just more motivated to get things accomplished in a quicker way. I
see it happening on the medical front too. You ask now any questions about a specific symptom, and that's the first thing it'll say is, we're not AI is not a doctor, and you better seek a doctor's advice, which is a good thing for those that would, just take it hook, line, and sinker, I guess. Oh yeah, you guys self-diagnosed like Dr. Google, and now it's Doctor. It's like ChatGPT. I call myself Wolf GPT because no, I'm kidding. So, but here's the key. I was having a conversation with the staff about this the other day, and we talked about as we go further and further into this AI stuff. With the world going to, hey, you call into your doctor's office, you never get to speak to anybody. You had to go to 4 prompts before you even get somebody on the phone, and then the voices sound so real. Are you talking to somebody real or not? Right. So I was talking to the staff about this. We need to become more. We need to keep what we have, and our clients they didn't hire us to have to go to 14 prompts to talk to somebody named Mia who is like a digital representative of the company. No, we're not doing that. So we got real people, real life people that you could talk with, and that's how we are always going to have it. And it's that human component, because AI will never have the empathy of understanding the weight of an emotional situation, which you often see people coming in having had big life changes. Someone got sick or there was an unexpected, death in the family. Those are the conversations that you want to have with a real person, not with a robot at home. No. Well, if you're ready to build not just a plan, but looking for that human connection and lifelong partnership to be on your retirement journey with you, head on over to wolfretirement.com. You can schedule that complimentary portfolio examination with Adam. Sit down, have a conversation, ask questions that are relevant to you and your situation. Again, that's wolfretirement.com. And of course, be sure to subscribe wherever it is that you're listening right now so that you never miss an episode. Adam and I talk about all sorts of interesting topics related to retirement and planning for retirement. So, Adam, I so thank you for your time. It's always a pleasure to sit down and have these conversations with you. That was great, Alyssa. Appreciate you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Investment advisory services offered through Coil Capital LLC, a registered investment advisor. Wolf Retirement Navigation LLC and Coil Capital LLC are not affiliated. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. No investment strategy can guarantee a profit or protect against loss in periods of declining values. Opinions expressed are subject to change without notice and are not intended as investment advice or to predict future performance. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Consult your financial professional before making any investment decision. This information is designed to provide general information on the subjects covered. It is not, however, intended to provide specific legal or tax advice and cannot be used to avoid tax penalties or to promote, market, or recommend any tax plan or arrangement. Please note that Wolf Retirement Navigation LLC and its affiliates do not give legal or tax advice. You are encouraged to consult your tax advisor or attorney. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurer. Any references to protection or benefits or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products. They do not refer in any way to securities or investment advisory products or services. Fixed insurance and annuity product guarantees are subject to the claims paying ability of the issuing company and not offered by Coil Capital LLC. Florida Insurance License Number W016816.